It looks like we are started. So let's call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. on the dot. Zoe got us all here on time. Good job. Awesome. And then next I will move into the modification and the approval of the agenda. Is there any modifications that anyone would like to bring up to the agenda?
Yeah, on other business, I would like to bring up potential bonuses for our staff, please.
Potential bonuses for what?
For staff.
For staff, okay.
I would like to add, discussion even before we get to finance about our bylaws.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Okay. Sounds like we had some discussion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving along to modification and approval of the last minutes from, or the last meeting's minutes from May 9th. Thanks for sending all this out in a packet, Zoe. So Paul had a chance to look this over before and have any questions? Do I have a motion for approval for the minutes from May 9th? So
Second.
Second. Okay. And any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes passed from last time. Now I have the added discussion about bylaws right up below the minutes. So you want to take that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, did we approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, yes.
So and I want to apologize because I never read the bylaws. I asked for the bylaws a few months ago and then I didn't, I looked at them and I said, oh, those look like bylaws. And I went, and then I just put them in my little tourism bucket. And so since we're fixing to vote to reappoint you, I pulled out the resolution that created the tourism board and then I looked at the bylaws and they don't match. And the bylaws are not signed. And I need to know if there is a signed packet of bylaws and the bylaws do not match the resolution at all.
Is it because it was a different entity?
They were from October of 2017.
Okay, well,
The
that's what
resolution
they
is October of 2017. And
Yes.
it's an unsigned copy, so they're not valid.
Leah Dennon was supposed to take care of that, and she was also supposed to, at one meeting, the board voted for her to redo the entire bylaws, and she was supposed to do that, and it did not get done.
Obviously slipped through the cracks,
So there are no bylaws that govern this board.
Just the bylaws that were adopted, and I would imagine there's a signed copy of those in the law director's office.
He does
There is
not.
He does not, okay. Well, I can find out if Barry had a copy of them.
I asked him back when you asked me.
Well, all I have is an unsigned copy, and that's the one you passed out. And those bylaws,
That's what I have on probably what I have on my file.
so I don't know how, because we're a 501, a 501c6, and I don't know how the board functions properly without bylaws. And I don't know that the decisions that we are making and voting on and doing things are even legal.
should we bring the law director into this conversation?
Well, that's what I went and talked to him about, because I didn't read the bylaws until yesterday, which was a holiday. Sorry, but it was my holiday too, so.
So read some bylaws on your
Yeah, so
holiday.
I spent my holiday reading the bylaws, which are quite short, but they're not at all, they don't match the resolution at all. So I don't know, the resolution says that the United Chamber of Commerce, would be you, and so that happens every October, but we have you doing it in June.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't exist anymore, and I think that was all part of the resolution. But it was all before my time, so I'm not.
The United Chambers there's no such thing anymore. They dissolved.
But you are, in the resolution, there is a chamber appointment.
representative, right.
Yes.
And that is you, because I
Yes.
asked John about that
Yes.
after the meeting last Monday night. So, so if with no bylaws, we have to default to the resolution, which is what the law director told
Okay.
me. But we have to have bylaws.
Yeah, I thought we did, I don't know.
So I don't know, I just don't know how much, I don't know how much, like, I don't know if we need to do any more appointments right now. Clearly, we
yeah.
have to do finance, but can we put off something until, like, your appointment until July? Since there are no bylaws.
I don't care at
Well,
all.
Historically, the appointment for the person who's the chamber person comes from the other chambers. And the chambers decide who they want to sit on the tourism board. And it's not something that we generally are involved in. It's something the chamber directors do to us.
And it happens in October according to the
Yeah,
resolution.
we're going with that.
But since that doesn't exist anymore.
The
No, the
resolution is
resolution
what is
does.
going to govern us right now, because
Okay,
we
no,
have
I'm sorry, I
no,
was thinking you were saying.
because we have
the-
no signed bylaws.
I was thinking you were saying the chamber, United
Oh,
Chambers.
the United Chamber doesn't
So
exist.
that's
Well,
not what
but
you're
even
saying.
if, so even then, the resolution is incorrect, because the resolution states, a chamber representative will be appointed from the United Chamber.
So
that
something
you're
else we
not-
need to
that's-
address.
Well, the United Chambers was basically an organization that was made up of all the chamber directors.
Right.
So it doesn't exist in fact, but it exists because we've still got all the chamber directors.
So then, but then the mayor, that was his recommendation, so how did that come into play? That might be a stupid question.
They would recommend it to the mayor, and the
And
mayor
then
would recommend it to
he,
the.
perfect, thank
To the
you.
committee on committees.
Right, well, I know it just came through on last Monday, and as a mayor, as the mayor's recommendation, and it went, and it, that we'll have a positive, recommendation, but in light of no bylaws, then that kind of makes it, I mean, I guess. it
So
doesn't
all
make it
bylaws have to
because-
be signed? I don't know.
Yes, or
I
they're
feel
not
certain
legal.
there is a signed copy of those bylaws.
Who signs them? Like everybody on the whole board? Or?
No, the
It
copy
would've
I
been-
have, just, it said October, undated, blank, 2017, Barry Young, typed under, no signature by Barry, no date.
So
Oh.
maybe, if I'm hearing you correctly, what we need to do
Well,
is
what I'm
defer the appointment until we
Yes,
figure
because what
out.
I'm afraid of, with budget being next Monday night, this could affect funding. The only funding this board by the private act is allowed to have is $350,000. And so if we don't have a signed copy of the bylaws, it's possible that what is going on could be called into legal questioning.
It sounds like it already is. By you.
I'm just saying, I've been on boards before, you have to have bylaws.
Yeah, I guess I've never heard the signed part, and I could definitely be wrong. I do not have my law degree. But I've served on lots of boards, and I have a board, and I just don't, I'm meeting with my actual attorney tomorrow for the chamber to amend our bylaws, so I'm gonna ask her about
Well,
this
so
tomorrow.
in the bylaws, there are only 3 people on the board of directors, for instance, and the county commission appoints all vacancies to the director's position. That means the county commission would appoint you,
Time
not the
out.
board.
This is 2023. When did I come on the board?
I just got something from Barry Young, because I sent him a text message, and he said that there is either one kept in the county attorney's office or in the county mayor's office.
Here at Traffic County Mayor, because we don't have it up there.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, welcome to the meeting, and Mask Who.
Oh,
Weiner,
Steve
South
Weiner,
County.
he's the staff attorney. He's,
Okay.
yes.
Good to have you here.
Yes, because we need guns, obviously, right? So, I'm trying to think, when did I come on the board? Because this transition happened.
That's what he said.
You've been here since 2017, because it's in the resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, because I really couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But I know that the transition from the Tourism Department of Sumner County, or whatever it was called, Tourism Board of Sumner County, happened after I got
You
here.
and I were both on it at that time.
Yes, because what happened, the only reason I read the bylaws is because someone had asked me if there were term limits on appointments, and I said, oh, I don't know, that should be in the bylaws, and it is not. So, So I just wanted to make sure that this is the resolution I created. And when we flip over here, it has the names and it has the terms. But there are no term limits. There are only term lengths. So this is what we have to operate by without the signed copy, according to Eric and Steve, without the signed copy of the bylaws, this is what we have to default to, which is no information, really. Like, the director's position is not even in there.
So are you saying we would have to bring the director's position to the full commission, like?
According
we
to
couldn't-
those set of bylaws that I have that are not signed.
So we would have to basically send Zoe as a positive recommendation to the full commission then?
No, the commission appoints.
Oh,
So do you see the conundrum?
okay, I want to make sure I understood. I mean,
So you're saying Zoe does not have this position?
Without a signed copy of the bylaws, the attorney is saying, well, everything we've been doing is not.
Kosher or whatever. So
So,
every
if I'm
bylaw,
not an
We just
attorney,
gotta find them. They've got to be somewhere because
so
that
every
all,
bylaws has to be signed by
that all
him?
happened very, very quickly. And I feel certain, I know for certain that when Leah didn't do
This
his
is
bylaws,
not
I
bylaws.
kind of redrafted
no,
the
this is
bylaws.
just the resolution
But
that
nothing
created,
resolution.
went from
But
the
nothing
old
was-
tourism board to the new tourism board.
Okay.
Which is what, so that's all, and I'm not saying that we have to like lock up the doors and everybody go home. I don't,
We just need
'Cause
to
that's
make a priority
not
to
my
get this figured
call.
out.
yes. And that's why I wondered, could I make the motion to put off your appointment for at least one more month and till we get,
Honestly, I don't know.
So do we need to look at
Yes.
the
the mayor
mayor's
needs to,
office?
we have to find a signed copy of bylaws, or the board is going to have to create bylaws.
Set of bylaws.
Who takes your
Yes.
minutes? Who takes your minutes?
I do,
You do?
Oh,
Is there
You
someone
would have
in the
a-
mayor's
where do you
office
keep your
or-
minutes?
in a binder,
Okay, and how long you been keeping minutes? So I don't mean to be intrusive.
a couple years at least.
Okay, so when was the last signed copy of the bylaws? When do you think that was?
That was when the new corporation was formed.
In 2017, which very likely means the copy of bylaws that I have are the bylaws.
You weren't at that time, were you?
Is there not someone in the mayor's office that could see if there's all this stuff?
Oh, I guess Leanne.
Like an assistant or
Leanne's
something
there.
instead of,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's gotta be a signed copy of them, I feel certain.
Okay.
So I apologize. We could have had this problem when I got the bylaws if I had read them right away. But that needs to be, dealt with.
I'm trying to think too, I may have either the minutes that you're talking about back from back then, or, I don't have them with me though. I'd have to go
Mhm.
through my files as well and see. And because you're here and you can guide us, let's say that we don't come up with a set of signed bylaws, what's our next move?
Well, I think it's important that as soon as possible that we have something, we have a draft, right, to work off of.
I think, right.
Right, we have a draft.
And I actually have another draft that because we had old bylaws and then new bylaws, but the new bylaws were so vague that I at one time took it upon myself to add revisions from the old bylaws to the new bylaws.
I think it should be a priority to get this done. If we can't
Mhm.
find them, with whatever moving copy we have, and have that debated and voted on and, adopted.
So the board of directors in the old bylaws, or the set of bylaws that I was given, that you gave us that day, says that it's the county mayor, the president, which would be the director, and one county commissioner. That's the whole board of directors. And they don't have to post meetings, and they can meet whenever they want to, and they can do meetings electronically, and they don't have to there's no treasurer, there is a secretary mentioned in that, but I don't know where they come in the board of directors. And so that made me wonder, do we have a board of directors?
It's an unfortunate conundrum we're in.
Yes.
Because Leah was appointed the task of making this happen, and it failed to happen, and now she's not here for us to say what happened, right? So.
What's the date of that person, what's the date of the,
October, no date of 2017
What's the official
on the
date?
bylaws.
the resolution was the 16th.
Tourism Board of
October.
Sumner County.
Tourism, and I looked under T, you know, when I was going my vaults earlier,
It used to be Sumner County CVB, but now it's Tourism Board of
Sumner, was it
Sumner County Convention and Visitors Bureau, or CVB.
Convention and Visitors Bureau?
I wish I'd known I would have.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
And that was back in 2017.
That was that.
October 17 is when-
Tourism Board of Sumner County Incorporated Corporation, that's you.
So these are the ones we've been operating under, we just don't. have
No,
them
we
signed.
haven't.
Well,
So those are the ones that I was given a copy of, but Eric says they're not valid because they're not signed on the back.
we may or may not have, which may or may not be a good thing, a signed copy somewhere. If it's not what we're
Well, a
doing.
signed copy would be something we could come into.
Let's see if this has been adopted in the minutes.
So that's why we need the minutes.
This could have been adopted in the minutes, and that might give us some better guidance on how to proceed on this.
So we need to find the minutes from October.
October 2017.
So for instance, it says,
I wasn't even, I was working in a different county then.
so for instance, it says you have to send, you have to give a presentation to the, or send an audit, or it's up back there, it's flip over.
The thing to do with
Annual
captioning.
report to the Secretary of State.
We do.
Well, I think we have to
We
do
do
that
that.
anyway.
We do
Well,
that,
yeah.
and
We have
all of
to.
our board
Well,
members are listed
that's
on
in the
there as
bylaws.
directors and officers.
Yes, so that's what, so that's, they're so, they're specific and so, they're so specific in some things and very vague in all the rest. So that, I just wanted to, I don't know what legally else we can do, but we are, I would just say, can we
Sumner County
put your appointment
Convention-
off for another
Convention
month
and Tourism Board.
until we can,
Convention and
Visitors.
Tourism.
Sumner County,
It was
CVB.
Sumner County Convention and Visitors Bureau prior to.
and this is
Or
what they are
CVB.
now. Tourism Board of
That
Sumner
is that.
County, Inc. Yeah.
And I'm texting Eric right here to see if, it might already be in archives for all I know. I don't know.
So that was what?
So, again, making sure that I'm processing.
Uh-huh.
Definitely want to hold off reappointment, which there's no reason we can't do that. And then priority is to wrap our arms around.
Bylaws, because if the bylaws, if there's no signed copy, none can be found, then there are none, according to the attorney. And it defaults to the resolution, which then puts, Marilee, since you're the chamber rep, it puts your appointment from, it says, the Chamber of Commerce, after this initial appointment, which begins October 17 and ends October 31, 2018, a one-year term, member to be recommended by the no longer existing United Chambers of Commerce. So, I would think since we default to this with no bylaws, you're good till October. So that's all, yes, because I don't know this either. So we are going to have to talk to the mayor about, see if he's got a copy and go from there.
I see that again,
So, yeah.
the resolution.
Yeah.
Here's what we made about-
I have a resolution, an email of the resolution here, but I can't find anything in my records that predate October 17.
Well,
Was it in the minutes? Did you find it in the minutes, or was it just separate? In what
I
you
found an
had?
email from Leah. So, Dear Sumner County Convention Visitors Bureau, with the increase in tourism the county has seen over the past several years, and the number of expired bureau seats, the commission determined that now is the time to restructure our tourism initiatives. After consideration by the commission committees and the full county commission, it was decided to transfer our county focus on tourism from the Bureau to newly created Tourism Board of Sumner County. The county very much values the enterprise of the members of the expertise of the United Chambers of Commerce that has reserved a seat for one of its members as part of our new body. The board member filling this seat will be nominated by the United Chamber of Commerce and will be affirmed by the county commission. It is hoped that the United Chambers can select the candidate in early November so that this person can be vetted and approved by the full commission at its November 20th meeting.
And that's when I started.
Was it?
No, that's when I started in Goodlettsville as a chamber director.
The new tourism board created at the October 16, 2017 meeting of the county commission is comprised of 3 private citizens, 4 county commissioners, the county executive, and the member from the United Chambers. A copy of the resolution passed by the commission is attached. Again, thank you for your years of serving the county. Please reach out with any questions you may have concerning this change. Look forward to a bright future for our growing county.
Leah made it.
So,
Did she attach either the bylaws or the
There is an attachment.
She attached the resolution.
resolution?
which is, yeah.
Will you forward that to me?
Do you have-
please? I think
Yeah, I have a
it. Make
copy.
sure.
I just have,
And I had Erica look at the files under Sumner County Tourism Board and also Sumner County Convention and Visitors Bureau. There's nothing executed that we can find.
I think at some point in time, and I don't know full details, but I think at some point in time it arose that she had not completed whatever she was supposed to do.
I don't know. I don't remember any of that.
The problem is the people that would really understand,
are no
Leah,
longer
being
here.
one of them, are no longer here. So, first let's deal with your motion, and that is that we hold off appointing
Yes,
any further appointments at this moment.
yes. And those would be just appointments.
And I'll second that.
Why don't we wait till Kelly comes back?
Oh, she go talk to.
I don't know where she went.
She went to the mayor's office.
I'm not sure there's any real need to even have a motion about an appointment, because we don't have to make an appointment. I mean, it's on the
Well,
agenda.
it would be on the commission
Yeah.
agenda, so we would need to strike it from the commission agenda.
Okay, this one is from November, from Ben Allen, November 15th. So we have drawn up this dissolution documents for the Tourism Bureau, and we need all of the directors to sign them. Will you please reply to this email with a place where I can meet you to get your signature? I've attached the documents to give you a chance to review the documents before we meet to sign
I
them.
remember that email now too. Well, you're better than me. Of course, it's not.
I
gonna
can't
go
believe
on
I've
my
got
phone.
emails
have to
going
pull
back.
my
I never
phone.
delete anything. I've
I don't
probably got
either.
a million.
I've got it stored in a folder
We
on
did
my hard drive.
forward that to you.
Well, I wasn't. No, you don't have to. You might want to Jean, but I didn't sign that because I was still working in a different county.
I don't know that that's gonna help us. That's just dissolving the old one.
Right.
But I remember that happening.
Yeah, I don't have any from that period of time.
I'm sorry, I just,
Why are you
we
sorry?
gotta be legal. Well, I hate trouble.
I don't think this is trouble. Why are you sorry?
Because if I had read the bylaws sooner,
I just
Yeah.
text our
We could
attorney.
still be
Yeah.
where we are today, and that is we have to remedy the issue. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying, let's deal with that motion so that we can move forward
Yeah.
and say, we've got to either find the bylaws or start creating a set of bylaws. That has
Right.
to be done.
yes.
So it's really okay, it's a small hiccup, we have to deal with it, is the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
don't
I
think
don't
it's
know even
anything
where
to-
you go to get, I guess they have bylaws somewhere that you can just, I'm sure there's a bylaw.
No, you gotta have them.
Huh?
You need to work with an attorney to create your own bylaws.
Well, I'm sure that they have like standard bylaws and then you just
maybe.
fill
We
in
have
the
some
blanks.
Which we can
You know,
start
like
with.
how you can make your own will.
Which probably, that may be where that came from.
Well, I mean, I know, I've worked in several institutions where they have standard documents.
She just basically said that they would be in the law office because Leah Denon is the one who drafted them, that there's got to be a file somewhere in the law office.
But he says they're not in
Who's
the
on
office.
first?
Yeah.
I mean, I had Eric look under 3 different names, and we couldn't find it, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Maybe it went to archives, I don't know how long we keep stuff when we send it to archives. That's a loaded question, we'll notice along.
Well, we're past 5 years, so.
So, am I to assume, because this is definitely what I'm going to do, that we still have to operate business as usual. We don't come to a halt, like you said, and shut the doors. We have to operate. We can hold off appointments, but we still have to operate as a functioning board, even if it's just put together bylaws.
Yeah, I would think.
I mean, we
Because
can't
because with no bylaws, Eric said, with no signed bylaws, it defaults to the resolution. The resolution states we have a board, and it states dates of appointments. But when I look at your appointment list in the original packet that Barry gave us when we started in January, everybody's got different dates for their roll-off. So like yours is in June, and yours is in October. So I would think if we just default everything to October, to the resolution for appointments, that makes us within the resolution. But it does not deal with it does not deal with the fact that the unsigned copy of the bylaws, which aren't legal, say the county commission appoints, in the event of a vacancy, the county commission appoints the director.
I don't know how all
So-
that went down, and I don't know how it goes, but I don't even know the gentleman's name, I'm sorry.
Steve,
I'm
uh-huh.
Kelly. It's very nice to meet you, Steve. Sort of, kind of, I don't know. But how would we go about applying for a 501c6 and registering with the Tennessee Department of Revenue or Secretary of State without that information?
I can see your reports that you file with them, it might give some guidance. I can see what you all file.
Yeah,
I
because when
think you have to file bylaws, I believe, with
And
them.
we did
The
have,
annual report,
we did
Yes.
did have
Yeah, 'cause we
a
did.
private attorney as well that Leah handed some of this over to. So we could contact him in the morning and
you
see.
did a private attorney, when was this?
Not long after.
Who
the
was it that
dissolution.
just sent
The
that
dissolution.
email, Angela? The email that we
Well, that
had to
person
sign
might have-
everything off on? That's who handled it.
Might have,
Might have what we're looking for.
right.
Ben Allen?
But
Ben Allen's not.
Is that,
doing
no, he
Yeah,
was
he was
in
a
the,
staff attorney.
he was the staff attorney, right.
If you had a private attorney working on this, I'll definitely check with whoever that was.
Yeah, so you said you do it in the morning?
Yeah.
The Secretary of State's office could have it through because of the.
I mean, we have an IRS EIN number. I feel like it's gotta be on file somewhere, right?
Good point,
How
'cause-
could we?
So
That's
I
something
just
for-
know this has to be dealt with because
Mhm.
when I was in the Hendersonville Community Singers, we had to dissolve because the man who took care of all of our 501c3 paperwork had a massive stroke. Anyway, we never got all the paperwork. Then we were forced by the IRS. They were going to give us fines and fees and everything, and we were just a poor little choir. So we had to dissolve because I know that you can't be a 501c anything without doing reports to an entity.
Right.
And filing your IRS. So if there are bylaws. But anyway, I just wanted to,
McMurray, because they file our corporate
They
returns.
always want a copy of our bylaws too, so.
So
Yeah.
let's go to them. Will you
Because
reach out
I
to
always
them?
have, we use the same one, we use Catherine.
I will.
So we're gonna reach out to.
I mean, I'm
Catherine or
I'm 99.9%
CATHR.
Yeah.
sure there's a signed contract.
Um,
It's the signed copy. Now, that's the whole reason why Leah Denning was going to revise the bylaws because they were so vague but that just did not happen.
oh, okay.
In spite of several reminders, that did not get done.
So we're gonna ask McMurray and we're gonna find out who that private attorney was.
Maybe check on the Secretary of State's website, they have a
And
entity
that's what I was
search.
gonna say.
You can do that, yeah.
And we'll go to the Secretary of State and come up with the bylaws, so the motion
I'm
is
texting
to.
somebody who used to work in that office. See who was the best person to contact.
Trey's information if we need to talk to Trey.
So when you get those, will you send a
Absolutely.
copy?
I give them
Okay.
to- Yeah, I give them to
Because
her.
we definitely need one on file here. Okay. Oh, so do we want to deal with the motion?
Steve, can you
Motion
tell me how
to table.
records work with archives?
The person who handles all of our archives is no longer with us, so unfortunately, I can't really tell you much about it. I do know after a certain period of time, stuff goes over there.
Everything
I'm not
goes-
sure what that time period is.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe we have that motion on the table.
What was the motion? Because Kelly wasn't in here when you made it.
To put off your appointment
Does it
at
look-
least until July's meeting.
Yes. Okay. I thought you said October, but
October.
just
Well, right.
revisit in July. Okay.
Revisit in July, because until we have bylaws, we have to default to the resolution. Does that make sense for the motion?
And there is
I need a
a
second.
motion on the table. We need a second.
Jean.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Shall we proceed with the finance report, Ms. Montgomery?
Well, you stole all my thunder.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Hold us accountable. Yeah, so everything's pretty good. June is the last month, thank you.
Y'all good evening.
Thank you.
Next, Steve.
Thanks,
June
Steve.
is the last month of the fiscal year for us. We currently have $336,000 in our checking account. We have $32,000 in accounts receivable, very minimal bills, current liabilities. The $26,791 is generally a vacation earned but not paid. Jumping over to the profit and loss, income for the year ending June 30th, but up to June 13th, excuse me. We had a total of 810 in income, total expenses of 669. It's $141,000, but there are still some expenses outstanding, and some of that we're trying to hold off to roll towards events that will happen in this year, just not this fiscal year, right?
Right.
So we still have to pay those.
And we have several things that are outstanding.
Except, right, because it's the year end, so we've got a lot of things to pay. So I'll keep it simple. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
In the, and Dawn, you may be able to answer this better. In the in the budget meetings, Monday night, they were talking about, this year y'all will get this, whatever we're giving you, the $760 some odd $1,000. And then next year you have to be, the tourism department has to be at, it was 65%.
Yeah.
Earnings, and they've changed it to 70%, so that when y'all meet 70%, you'll keep what we've been giving you? Or was that how that worked? Do
It
you
has to be,
remember?
70% and then keep whatever.
Yes, so that my question then is that's based on their income, right? The total income?
Right.
So that is an excellent number for y'all. I mean, that's a good number.
Yes.
Yes, good. That's what I was trying to get at.
Good.
It all makes sense
like
in my
something to be
head, but it
excellent.
doesn't come out of my mouth always.
I get that.
I have a question about that though, at the, just to make sure that we're clear on it. We had, whatever we were gonna get was based on 1.2 million.
Yes,
And we're gonna obviously exceed that. So whatever we exceed, does that go towards the next or not?
I didn't hear anything about that.
it's not this year, it would go towards 24, it's not the 23, 24 year, but the next budget season.
Yeah.
Right, but maybe I'm not asking it right, but if we exceed 1.2, which we're obviously going to, I mean, we don't have to collect
yes.
5,000 in the next year. So suppose we collect 1.5. Is that additional money's going to be counted towards what we get next year?
Towards your budget.
Because suppose we have a couple bad months, but we've already gone significantly over what was projected.
I don't know.
I'd have to double check
I'm
with
not on
Matt
that
Schoaf
committee.
on that. Yeah, because
Me either.
that's not what I heard, but I can check with him.
I think if you stay where you are, it's if you drop below that 70% mark, is where it's gonna start counting against you, against that next budget year. So y'all have to
It would just be
maintain
nice
in
if
that
whatever we
era.
collected over
area.
1.2.
I don't know
went
if,
towards that.
yes, I know what you're saying. So like if you made $2 million,
Yeah.
would your budget then go from 766 to 1.4 million? I don't know. That would be up to David
I don't
Walling.
maintain that budget, so.
Yes. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's what I know,
Right.
will you get all the overage? That I don't know.
Or I'm not even worried about the overage. I'm worried about if we had 3 months where we had a pandemic and we had nothing,
Right.
would that money
Heaven
count
forbid.
towards?
Oh, Oh,
Yeah,
I see
I'm
what
not
you're saying.
worried.
I don't know, I'd have to ask
I'm not
Matt.
so much asking about.
Even
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
David,
working
I
it.
think that
David
would
Long
be a
could
better
answer
question
that
for
for you
David.
because that was his proposal anyway.
Okay.
And I was, yes, so.
And state that again, because I don't think I fully absorbed it. I'm sorry.
I don't know what I was supposed to restate. Between July 1st, or whenever the budget goes, whenever your budget year
July
starts,
1st.
July 1st, to next June 30th, y'all need to make at least 70% of what you made this year to maintain your
That makes full sense.
income.
So let's say one
like a
point two
maintenance
is what we
effort,
end up
yeah.
making, we've gotta make
They
70% of that. It's gonna be
it
about
was my understanding that they
$800,000.
based what we were gonna
Yes.
get on the 1.2 million, which she said would be our collections, but our collections are gonna exceed that.
So,
I think
I'm
it was
not
just
sure what it
based
was
on-
on, I just know there was a 70% figure and that was your goal.
Right.
And I don't have it backwards.
So we're good with that, we're
and
gonna
I
do it
tend to
anyway.
believe that.
Yeah, it was a
that-
goal. I mean, if they exceed it, I mean, the better.
But if you go below it, it affects your funding.
Right.
Then obviously our funding would go to that.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But that needs to be explained to you by someone who
I think
is
I got
on
it.
budget,
Thank you. You had to say it
who
twice.
explains it better than
I think I
me.
got it. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Any other further questions on the finance report? Do I have a motion to approve the finance report?
I will,
Shannon?
yes.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second it. Yeah.
Dawn? Any further discussion on the finance report? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Finance report passes. Let's move on to the occupancy tax report.
Zoe, you're up. 5. A little nervous over there.
So we just got our occupancy back for April, and that number is up $9,412.37, which is exciting.
Congrats.
I'm very excited to see May's number. I think that that's gonna be really good, especially with the overflow from Taylor Swift. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of that, some of these tournaments that we've had, so I'm thinking that we're gonna finish the year really strong. We're already getting up very close to where we were last year, so I think so far it looks pretty good.
Any questions on the occupancy tax report?
No, good job.
Moving on to other business. Zoe, if you want to take it away with logo and copyright.
So, a few months ago, Kelly and Barry were discussing getting our logo copyrighted. Barry was very weary about people stealing our logos. It's one of the stories he saw the star that was similar to ours somewhere else, and he wanted to get ours copyrighted. We have now changed our logo, and we are no longer interested in having any kind of copyright. So I think that was gonna be like $5,000. So we are gonna just axe that. I mean, if somebody steals our logo, it's not like it's some intricate design, it's a star with words under it. So we were like, I think it's not that big of a deal. So we decided to axe that $5,000 and use that elsewhere, because I just didn't think it was all that necessary to copyright that logo.
You back here? No, all good.
There was a huge discussion about that and on BOMO, the City by the Lake logo. I don't recall it being a copyright issue. Someone wanted to make t-shirts with the City by the Lake logo on it, and they voted against that because they felt like they should be getting income from those things. I don't know that I have any other feeling.
Is everybody here that's supposed to be
Yeah.
here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank y'all.
Would that put you in a position where you would have to change the logo frequently though, because could that logo be misused?
No, I mean, it's just our logo it's a star with our Sumner County, Tennessee under it. So, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a, I mean, it's basically exactly this. They just took a couple lines off of it. I mean, so I just don't think it's all that necessary.
Okay.
So.
Could somebody misuse it? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously?
I don't know. That was just a huge discussion. I just watched the meeting.
No, you're good question, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Would Albany realtors have been worried about that? Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I
Right.
don't know.
Any further questions or discussion on logo copyright? Okay, I'm gonna move on to a modification we added to the agenda per Jean, that is potential bonuses for staff.
So, I think,
You want me to leave?
I think I would like you to leave,
Thank you.
and
I'd
I
like to
don't
leave.
know, I would need some guidance here, live, right? So I think because we're talking, personal private pay, should we go into
Yeah,
executive?
should go executive
Executive.
section.
Thank you. I
I
didn't know
move
the
that we go into
deadline.
executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And somebody flip the switch